Gather round, little ones. I have a story for you.
I love the stories Her Majesty tells us. So do I. What's the story this time, Your Majesty?
I'm glad you asked. Today is the story of Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah! Yeah!
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the story.
Yeah. Little Red gets lost in the woods and runs into a wolf,
Who disguises themselves as Grandma and waits to attack Little Red.
And you'd be right. Well, this version of Little Red Riding Hood is a more, shall we say, unique take on the classic story, featuring someone who had just arrived here not too long ago. Once upon a time, there was a sweet, optimistic boy named Ninten. On his head, he wore a red hat, and it was one he loved so much he wore it everywhere.
Queen Mary! Queen Mary!
Yes, little one?
How does that translate to a red hood?
Funny you should ask. A story can have many different names. For instance, the story of Little Red Riding Hood can also be known as Little Red Cap.
Oh!
Of course, for Ninten, his mother made up a red cloak with a hood that he can wear in case it gets cold. Like with the hat, he loved it and decided to wear that as well. As he did, he was nicknamed Little Red Riding Hood or Little Red Cap, whichever name he preferred to use. Now, Little Red Riding Hood was given a basket full of food and things that might be important for his adventure, and set out to the merry little town of Thanksgiving. Because it was such a merry little town, it also became known as Maryville. Still in all, that's where Little Red was headed. Little Red Riding Hood was walking along, basking in the sunlight as he made his way to Maryville without a care in the world.
I believe in make-believe, fairy tales and lucky charms and...
However, Little Red had found himself at a fork in the road and didn't know which path would lead him to Marysville and which didn't.
Huh? Which way do I go?
Luckily for Little Red, he remembered that he had his baseball bat. So he took it out from his cloak and threw it high in the air. Let's try that again. Luckily for Little Red, he remembered that he had his baseball bat, so he took it out from his cloak and threw it high into the air. Whichever way the bat was pointing when it landed would be the path he takes. So when it landed, it pointed to the path on the left.
Aha! That way should take me to Marysville.
So Little Red picked up the bat and started heading along the path. Little did he know, there was something lurking in the dark wooded area of the path. A glimpse of eyes where none should show appeared and tracked Little Red by the hood he wore. As Little Red made their way along the path, a wolf appeared before him.
How you doing, Little Red? Wolf coming at ya. I really didn't think that one through, did I?
Little Red was somewhat surprised by the wolf, but didn't think much of it at first.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Little Red asked.
Of course I am. Are there any other Little Reds I'm not aware of?
The wolf replied.
Fair point.
The wolf then asked Little Red,
Where are you off to this fine morning?
to which Little Red replied,
I'm heading off to the town of Marysville.
I see.
said the wolf.
And what do you have in that there basket?
Just some supplies I might need for my adventure. Food, some reading material, a magic hook linked to the Kingdom of Magic Hands. You know, the essentials.
Little Red answered. Upon hearing this, the wolf licked its lips.
And this adventure you speak of? What do you plan to do?
The goal is to gather these melodic fragments of a song Queen Mary's been having trouble remembering. There are 8 melodies I need to find, and so far I have 3. I also have to figure out the reason why inanimate objects started flying around, the dead rose from their graves, and animals and people were getting whipped into a frenzy and attacking everyone.
The wolf takes Little Red's answer in consideration and responds.
Ooh, sounds to me like you got a lot of work to do.
And Little Red answers with,
I sure do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really have to get going.
as he sets off. The wolf then looks to the left and right, as if wondering if the coast was clear.
Little Red didn't expect a thing,
said the wolf with a smirk as his stomach grumbled, and he soon got to work.
This is when the wolf takes on his disguise, isn't it?
How astute an observation, little one. Yes. In order for the wolf to trick Little Red Riding Hood, he would need a disguise, so he quickly got to work on making one.
Once this disguise is complete, I'll use it to lure Little Red into a false sense of security. Then I can get the drop on them and take their basket. Those goodies will be mine, all mine.
If you're wondering how a wolf is operating a sewing machine, don't sweat it. It's a fairy tale. It's also earthbound, so there's that.
Red won't know what hit him. Ain't I a stinker?
As Little Red Riding Hood continues down the path, he encounters the wolf again, but under the disguise of the crowned Queen of Magic Hand. Queen Mary? Am I reading that right?
Hey, it had to be someone Little Red knew.
Fair point, but why me in particular?
Maybe the wolf couldn't find Grandma. Or they didn't know Grandma?
That's honestly an excellent point you two raise. Anyway, Little Red had encountered the wolf, who had disguised himself as me. Oh, my dearest Little Red Ninten, how I have longed to see you again.
Who does he think he's kidding?
Because it's funny as hell.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I think I'm good. Oh, Your Majesty. I didn't expect to see you out here.
I do apologize if I
startled you.
I don't usually leave the castle all that often.
I can understand that.
Then as Little Red converses with the disguised wolf, he notices something.
My, Your Majesty, what big ears you have,
says Little Red. All the better to hear you and listen to the concerns of my kingdom with, my dear, the wolf replies.
My, Your Majesty, what big eyes you have,
says Little Red. All the better for me to see you and
survey my kingdom with, my dear,
the wolf responds.
Isn't Magicant's total area unsurveyable?
Yes, that can be quite an issue.
My, Your Majesty, what a big nose you have,
says Little Red.
All the better for me to smell.
Smell with, my dear Little Red?
Answered the wolf.
Here it comes. My, Your Majesty, what big teeth you have,
says Little Red in a tone of voice that indicates he knows what's going to happen.
All the better for me to eat you with,
growled the wolf, dropping all pretenses as he sheds his disguise and lunges, poised to gobble Little Red Riding Hood up. Oh, right, he has a baseball bat.
Ow. I should have stuck to DJing. Over to you, Casey.
That took quite a bit out of me. Guess that's what I get for going all out.
said Little Red as he took a moment to catch his breath. Then he looked and noticed the basket he was carrying on the ground.
Huh.
Little Red mused.
Must have dropped it when the wolf lunged to attack me. Well, I can't leave it here. I can't just leave it here.
Little Red then stretched his hand toward the basket, used his psychic powers, because yes, he has those, to pick it up and continued along the trail. When he reaches the end of the trail, he finds himself face to face with a tall, silver-colored building that seems to reach into the heavens.
Wait, this isn't Maryville?
Inquired Little Red. Then he noticed a sign by the door.
Sweet little factory?
After reading the sign, Ninten soon figured out.
Ah! I must have taken a wrong turn back at that fork in the road. Oh no!
And it was then that Little Red thought to himself,
Probably gonna want to remember this way. Might be important.
With that in mind, Little Red doubled back, following the path in the opposite direction. Passing by the wolf, he knocked unconscious along the way.
Hey, no hard feelings, Wolfie?
None, Little Red. Sorry I tried to eat you. Ow.
He'll be fine. As Little Red reached the fork in the road, he knew that the right path was the right path. That is to say, the right fork of the path was the way to Maryville. So he followed the other path on the trail until he finally arrived in Maryville.
Yep, this is the place, all right. I can't wait to explore.
Little Red cheered as he took his first steps into a new town. Who knows what he might find as his journey continues.
Yeah! I love the stories you tell us. Thank you, Your Majesty. I really enjoyed story time. Thank you.
I wonder how Ninten's doing right now.